have signs, we have plenty of banners. Please grab one. The most important thing is that people see why we are here. We're going to be talking to this. Yeah, maybe flat on the ground might be better. Welcome to the Boston Wind Tunnel. Let us begin.
It's after 2, right? You're right.
Friends, we are here to call on all parties to engage in negotiations to end this disastrous war in Ukraine. Today is February 24th. The war began exactly 1 year ago. But did the war begin with Russia's invasion 1 year? Or did this war start much further back? It's just that we were not paying attention. Now we must pay attention because this brutal war must stop, and it must stop now. For whatever differences we have about how the war began and why it is being fought, we stand here today united in a call for a negotiated settlement, a ceasefire, and a diplomatic resolution to this war. How many more thousands will die? Every day, our country, the United States, gets more and more directly involved in the carrying out of this war. A confrontation between the two largest nuclear powers on Earth was something that for 60 years, more sane leaders in Washington made sure to avoid. Now that danger increases by the day. For the sake of everyone dying in Ukraine, for the sake of all of us, this war must stop, and it must stop now. Join us. Contact your representatives in Congress. Talk to your friends. Write letters to the editor. It is time for us to join our voices to the voices of people around the world who are calling for negotiations. We are very fortunate to have some wonderful speakers with us today. And I will be speaking briefly because of the cold and the wind. Once the speakers are done, we will be marching as a group down Washington Street to City Hall and then to the JFK building, where aides of Senators Warren and Markey will meet us to share their ideas about the war and to hear what we have to say. Our first speaker is Eileen Kurkoski from Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Eileen.
Good morning, everyone. This is a remarkable day. It's so good to see so many people here. It's an extremely sad day as well. I'm part of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, which has been trying to stop war since World War I, 1915. And as you can tell, we've had continual wars since the World War II. I have hope, hopefully for this war to end in a peaceful way without a nuclear disaster. But I have hope for other things, and I wanted to share that with you. The second and third week of March is a big UN congregation of the Commission on the Status of Women. The second week is particularly focused on youth or younger people who can be trained and do get trained because they want to, and these are people from all over the world, to learn the peaceful and the best of the United Nations initiative for sustainable peace by addressing the root causes of war. If you know youth who might be interested in this, ask them to consider being part of this organization that brings back to their communities a better way of justice, a better way of conducting behavior, a way to prevent war. That is my message today, and I'm so glad we're bringing the end to this message, this war we're in right now with Ukraine, up to Markey and Warren. They are sympathetic. They're just not sticking their necks out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eileen. And thank you very much for the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom in their call for an end to wars, especially this one in Ukraine right now. Our next speaker will be Doug Stuart from the Veterans for Peace. Welcome, Doug.
I am a member of the United States organization Veterans for Peace, meaning we are U.S. military veterans who by our experience had been in war, by our experience of having been in war, have come to the position that we do not believe in war. Since I was exposed to war in Vietnam, this country has done nothing but prove the idiocy of warfare. Iraq, Afghanistan, Grenada, the list goes on. We do not grow by war.
Nothing but wrong.
I want to bring to your attention the paper that that Veterans for Peace puts out called Peace and Planet News. It's now online. You can get it online, but it's also a paper copy. The issue recently came out yesterday, featured in one of its articles Ray McGovern. Ray was testifying 2 days ago in front of the United Nations on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline being blown up.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Listen to that. Listen to Ray McGovern talk about that. We need to be looking into who blew up that pipeline.
And what are the people done?
2 blocks away, less than 2 blocks away from there, is a monument, a memorial, recently erected that gives me great hope. The memorial to Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. It's a physical depiction of what he stood for. The power of love. My hope is that this monument, standing amongst 4 memorials, shall be a beacon for Boston about the power of love in our world. When Ray McGovern gave his testimony, which was on a YouTube on the Peace and Planet News, he ended with a song. The song he sang was written by Dr. Vincent, and I don't remember his last name, who was a writer, predominant writer of his Martin Luther King speech that he made at the Riverside Church, where he denounced the 3: militarism, racism, and poverty. That peace movement that we had in the 60s needs to be reinvigorated again. As we had war in 1960 that I experienced, we now have an $858 billion budget in our military. We have 800 bases around the world. We have done nothing but go further into hate and fear and war. Ray McGovern called up the song, "We gotta keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward, never moving on, never pushing back." But what he said in that, he followed it up with a line of the verse that I had never heard before. And it goes, "We're gonna keep on loving our enemies. Keep on loving our enemies. We're gonna keep on loving our enemies, never backing down, never backing down." The peace movement must live on because we need to negotiate, not escalate this war.
Thank you, Doug. Let me call now on Rabbi Victor Reinstein from Jamaica Plain. Rabbi, a few words if you could.
In synagogues this week throughout the Jewish world, including in Ukraine and Russia, an accompanying angel, what does it mean? The angel was astounded and said, "Don't you know what it means?" And he said, "No." And the angel explained, the menorah means not by armed might, nor by physical force, but by my spirit, says the God of multitudes. We are still, throughout this world, we are still confused as the prophet was. We still receive the challenge and wait to fulfill it of the angel of a new way. On this day marking the first anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, we face that challenge. Challenged as peace seekers and peace builders to acknowledge aggression and yet to offer a new way of response. a way that meets the challenge of the angel. May our hearts be filled with compassion for the untold suffering of Ukrainians. May our hearts receive with love the tears of those who grieve in Russia and in Ukraine. On this anniversary, may we no longer be confused as we seek the way to negotiation and away from the abyss. May we no longer be confused as the prophet was, but take to heart and help to realize the challenge of the menorah as offered by the angel, not by armed might nor by physical force, but by my spirit, says the God of multitudes.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Tracy Chambers, and I just want all us to just get along. That's enough of this damn violence. That's enough of this destruction. How about we all just get along? Color don't mean nothing. Let's just get along. How about that? Have a good day, everybody.
Now there's the message we all need to hear. Our next speaker is Representative Mike Connolly from the great city of Cambridge.
Well, thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to stand here with you. And, it's so important, I think, that we gather here today to call for peace and to call for diplomacy. And, I want to say right at the start, personally, I do not believe there is any justification for the aggression and the attacks that we've seen from Russia on Ukraine and on civilians and on critical infrastructure. But there's a couple of other very important points that I think we need to emphasize. And the first point is that if we look back in history, there have always been miscalculations. Back during World War I, they didn't even call it World War I because they couldn't have conceived that there would have been another great world war. But they miscalculated, and it was less than a generation later, and our world was once again plunged into absolute war. The second important fact that really draws me here today is the reality that we do live in a military-industrial complex here in the United States. Some have called it a military-industrial congressional complex. And when you put these two facts together, the fact that there are powerful interests in our country that are interested in stoking aggression and stoking division, and you combine that with the historical reality that there have always been misunderstandings and miscalculations, and that moves us to where we are today, which is, as many experts believe, closer to nuclear war than we've ever been. And I feel it's very important for me as someone who's in elected office, for someone who has a platform in the state government, to stand with you and to highlight these concerns and to call for renewed efforts for diplomacy. There is no room for error. We cannot miscalculate. We cannot stoke aggression. We should not be beating our chests. We should be promoting conversation. We should be promoting understanding. We should be demanding diplomacy, not war. And so I know everything I just said, none of that was groundbreaking. We all know this. We all know that the missiles that are flying into Ukraine are unjustified. We all understand the reality that we live in. But we have to remind people, and we have to stand up, and we have to call for peace, and we have to call for diplomacy. And so that's why I'm honored to stand with you, and I'm grateful that so many people have showed up on a freezing day to amplify this message, and I look forward to continuing to stand with you. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. We can always count on Mike to bring the voice of sanity to what's happening in this world. Our next speaker to share her thoughts with us is Jeanne Trubek from Watertown Citizens for Peace, Justice, and the Environment. They take on everything. Jeanne.
Hi. It's been 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine. And in that 1 year, the Western nations have provided Ukraine with billions of dollars of weapons. The United States just promised another $2 billion. That's only going to prolong the war. And the longer the war goes on, the more people die. The first step in bringing an end to the war is negotiations. The United States should use all of its influence to bring all the involved countries together to negotiate a ceasefire and eventually peace. We can't wait until some ill-defined goal is satisfied. Every day that the war continues, there's more death and destruction in the area. If it were our sons and daughters, our grandchildren, who were the ones fighting and dying, we would be clamoring for an end to this. We should clamor just as hard for other people's sons and daughters and grandchildren. China's UN deputy told the General Assembly yesterday, adding fuel to the fire will only exacerbate tensions. Prolonging and expanding the conflict will only make ordinary people pay an even heftier price. We know that the war will end with negotiations. That is, wars don't end until there's some negotiation. We should do negotiations now and bring an end to the war.
Thank you, Jeanne. Before we have our next two speakers, Reverend Vernon Walker and John Harris, we're going to have Susan Mirsky lead us in a song, Despite the Wind and Cold. Give it a try, Susan.
Okay, unfortunately, that's not the title of our song, but are you all ready to sing? Yeah. Okay, now this should be really easy. Everybody out there, and the truck going by, on their way. So you all know the song. All we are saying is give peace a chance. That's it. Okay. Are we ready? Yeah. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. For Ukraine, Russia, and the USA. For Ukraine, Russia, and the USA. For Ukraine, Russia, and the USA. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Diplomacy is the message, negotiation is the way. Diplomacy is the message, negotiation is the way. Again, diplomacy is the message, negotiation is the way. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. For the future of humanity, for the future of the earth. For the future of humanity, for the future of the earth. Again, for the future of humanity, for the future of the earth. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Don't run the risk of nuclear war. Don't invest in war no more. Don't run the risk of nuclear war. Don't invest in war no more. Again, don't run the risk of nuclear war. Don't invest in war no more. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Woo-hoo.
Well, thank you, Susan. Beautiful. Okay, our next speaker is the very Reverend Vernon Walker. Where is he, Vernon? There he is. Thank you so much for joining us today, Vernon. Vernon runs the crew program at the Better Futures Project, helping communities to prepare for the upcoming rise in floods, fires, and everything else going on. So we depend on Vernon for a lot of guidance in the area of climate change.
All right. When I say peace, well, you say now. Peace.
Now.
Peace.
Now.
Peace.
Now.
Today, brothers and sisters, marks the 1-year anniversary of Russia invasion into Ukraine, sparking the beginning of an unjust war. It has been estimated that there has been over 2,000 people, and soldiers particularly, that have died on each side, or combined on each side. It seems that this war is heading towards an inevitable conflict between the U.S. and Russia, as U.S. intelligence and military personnel have been heavily involved in directing the Ukrainian military affairs. That's right, boo! Billions of U.S. money is what is helping to keep the Ukrainian government afloat as the U.S. is sending more and more deadly weapons. We are demanding that our government support talks between Ukraine and Russia. This unjust war can no longer go on. We are demanding that the only way, we are suggesting that the only way peace will come is when Russian leaders and Ukrainian leaders get together and talk. We need an end to this war. The path to peaceful resolution will not come through military might, but through negotiation and firm understanding that we are all tied in an inescapable garment of mutuality, and that our humanity is bound one to another. We are urging that our governmental leaders here in the United States understand this and have the courage of their conviction to call for war no more. This direct catastrophic war has already had an impact across the world, as we have seen The rising prices for wheat, fertilizer, and fuel is creating a global growing crisis in global hunger and poverty. But we stand here today, brothers and sisters, as believers in peace, all united, calling for the peaceful negotiation between Russia and Ukraine. We are here today to say that we should choose the way of love, just as Jesus taught us to love one another. And if we love people in such a way, then we will study war no more. I am convinced that the change will not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but will only come if people of goodwill, such as ourselves, continue to stand and call for peace, because peace is what we need. Is that right? We need the U.S. government, the federal government, to focus its efforts on programs designed to end poverty. We need the U.S. government to focus on programs that are designed for social uplift. We need the U.S. government to focus on how we combat climate change and not on sending weapons of mass destruction to Ukraine. Is that right, brothers and sisters? I am convinced that our world needs more love. And love is what justice looks like in public. And I am glad that we're standing here together, that we come from different walks of life, black, white, and brown, and we are standing together to send a message that we hope will resonate to Congress, that we need war no more. Is that right? We're standing together to send a message that we need to be the armors of peace. We're standing and sending a message that we need to be the tale-bearers of truth and love. But we will not sit by while our government and our certain representatives continue to authorize and send weapons of destruction to Ukraine, but instead we'll send a message of peace, unity, and love, and we'll send a message that we are all human together, and our humanity is bound up one to another. And then we can study war no more, and then the lion will lay down with the lamb, and then violence will cease on our street, and then those that are in poverty can be lifted up, and then we will have a society that welcomes everybody. Is that right, brothers and sisters? Well, I'm going to get out your way, but I really just stopped by to tell somebody that we are on the right path advocating for change, that we will continue to advocate for peace, that we will continue to lift our voices and for justice, love, and equality, that we will continue to say we need war no more, and let us work together, stand together, talk together, march together, and then we can create that beloved community. God bless you today.
Thank you, Vernon. Vernon mentioned the weapons, these HIMARS missiles that we are sending to Ukraine. We are all very aware, unfortunately, of the huge human toll caused by Russia's weapons and missiles. We are not aware of the fact that at this very day, our American weapons are showering down on the Ukrainians living in the Donbass, slaughtering them. These people's lives count just as much as anyone else's, and it is our weapons that are destroying them and destroying their livelihoods. Let us remember all the victims of this horrendous, disastrous war. Our next speaker is John Harris from the Boston Mayday Coalition. Thank you, John, for being with us.
Thank you, Paul, for inviting me to speak. I'm proud to be here with so many folks gathered on such a cold day demanding peace. Really, I think we should be reminded that the Russian intervention may not be in the interests of peace or self-determination, but neither was the U.S.-sponsored coup d'etat in 2014. That was not being done in the interest of sovereignty or self-determination to overthrow a democratically elected government. You know, in this war, there's only one losers. The losers are the Ukrainian people. Tens of thousands, maybe more than 100,000 have died over there. Paul is right. Both sides. We should be mourning the deaths. The United States, it is reported, has over 100 nuclear weapons in Europe. How many lives have these nuclear weapons saved? How many? Not one. In my opinion, and this is my personal opinion and that of my organization, we should remove all these nuclear weapons, these U.S. weapons. We live here in the United States. This is where we live, and we should be demanding that. 100,000 U.S. troops are stationed in Europe. How many lives have they saved? In my opinion, not one. It's not in our interest to support these nuclear weapons or the 100,000 U.S. troops. My organization is calling to get all foreign troops out of Ukraine and Europe so that the Ukrainian people can exercise their self-determination. But personally, I wouldn't support one more penny for this war in Ukraine. And I stand with the people who mobilized in Washington, D.C. on February 19th, demanding that not one more penny of our taxes be spent for this intervention in the Ukraine, where so many tens of thousands of lives have died on both sides. And I agree with Paul, we should be mourning all their lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that message, John. Our last speaker, I know we have other speakers who have lots of good things to say, but we want to get our march down to talk to Senators Warren and Markey's aides going. So we're very fortunate to wind up our presence here at Downtown Crossing with John Blumensteil, who'll speak on behalf of the Green Rainbow Party. John, thank you for being with us.
Thank you all for coming out. It's really hard to follow up after these awesome speakers we've had. And I really have collapsed my speech. I really need to collapse my speech because the others have said so many powerful things. Conflicts, wars, battles, whatever we have, arguments, always have at least two sides to them. This one perhaps has more than two sides. But each side has to take responsibility for their part in it. And my view is, being an American citizen and being a proud American citizen, I've had a good life in this country. Many have not, but I have, so I will not speak negatively about it. But we have a government that has really significantly gone off the rails, tremendously gone off the rails. And when I came up with that phrase to use today, it made me think of East Palestine, Ohio, being the absolute tragic metaphor for our disastrous government policy and governance. We are in a war that we need not be in. We are in a war that need not have happened. Our government had the opportunity prior to this war to avoid it. And they've had the opportunity today that if they decide to stop it. But our government doesn't really respond accordingly. I have sent 4 questions repeatedly to my congressional delegation, Senator Markey, Senator Warren, and Representative Jake Auchincloss. I always have trouble with his name. The 4 questions are this. what was the necessity of NATO having Ukraine become a member? Why was it so important to the United States? Let me get my questions so I can do them succinctly. And why do we not get any really historical context or historical facts about the lead up to this war and the occurrences that goes forward? And in insisting that Ukraine become a part of NATO, was it really worth the risk of a nuclear war, or any war for that matter? What was the gain for the world to have Ukraine and insist on Ukraine becoming a member of NATO? This seems to be the flashpoint in this conflict to begin with. And lastly, what would the United States be doing if Russia were planting troops, missiles, and armaments in Mexico or Canada? We need to look at it from our side and get our representatives take responsibility. But all three of these representatives, my congressional representatives in Washington, they have all voted for sending more and more and more and more money to Ukraine. And the last figure I've heard, it's $100 billion. That $100 billion is sort of, as the Reverend mentioned and spoke very poignantly about, that $100 million spent in the United States would have brought 1 million nurses to our failing healthcare system, or 1 million teachers to our failing education system. Our priorities are wrong, and we must change that. But first and foremost, to start that change, we have to insist that we have an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine, that we negotiate out of good faith, no preconditions, and we bring an end to this war, because the people of Ukraine are suffering mostly, but the world is suffering, and the path to an escalated war makes it even more critical that we stop this war now. Thank you for being here.
John, thank you for those words of common sense. Would that there would be some common sense in this world today, and in Washington, D.C. especially. We have to make sure that they hear our message down there, and for that reason we are now going to march to the JFK Federal Building, where we are very fortunate that aides to Senators Markey and Warren will meet us there and listen to what we have to say, and then we can see what they think about this. So, Cole is going to lead our march down Washington Street. Be careful at the intersections. Cole, you want to come right down in front here? We're going to go this way. Please. We're going to walk down the street until we hit the traffic. Once we hit the traffic, we're going to get onto the sidewalk and walk straight down to City Hall and then over to the JFK building. Please, as many of you as possible, to stay with us. Thank you all for coming today and spread the word on negotiations. Now, this war must end. People start to gather over here.
People die in Afghanistan. And as soon as the U.S. leaves, the Taliban's back in.
Give peace a chance.
Negotiate, don't escalate. 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 Negotiate, don't escalate.
Banner faces forward.
End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in the Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. No more war. 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 Negotiate, don't escalate. 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 Negotiate, don't escalate.
Negotiate, don't escalate. Don't escalate.
Yeah. Because I started last night. I put out all this stuff. I've been doing it for about a couple of years. Oh no, I do it.
Mostly at the BC level.
No, in MAPA.
Oh, yeah. Tim was here earlier.
Move it up quick. Good.
Mr. Connolly, Paul. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance.
End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain. End the war in Ukraine. No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine.
No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine.
No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine.
No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine.
No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine.
No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine.
No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war in Ukraine.
No more fighting. No more pain.
End the war. Negotiate, don't escalate.
Negotiate, don't escalate.
Negotiate, don't escalate. Negotiate, don't escalate. Negotiate, don't escalate. Negotiate, don't escalate. Negotiate, don't escalate.
Negotiate, don't escalate.
Negotiate, don't escalate. Negotiate, don't escalate. Negotiate, don't escalate.
Negotiate, don't escalate. Negotiate, don't escalate.
Peace now. Peace now.
Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Peace now. Got a lot of negatives to it too.
Yesterday. Peace yesterday.
All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give
we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. For Ukraine, Russia, and the USA. For Ukraine, Russia, and the USA. Again, for Ukraine, Russia, and the USA. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Diplomacy is the message, negotiation is the way. Diplomacy is the message, negotiation is the way. Again. Diplomacy is the message, negotiation is the way, and all we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying
Just let me know when you want to talk to him and give him the petition.
give peace a chance.
I can. You want to talk to him now?
Humanity,
Yeah, I get him right now. What's your name?
of the earth,
For the future of humanity, for the future of the earth.
Again.
For the future of humanity,
For the future of the earth. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Don't run the risk of nuclear war. Don't invest in war no more. Don't run the risk of nuclear war. Don't invest in war no more. Again. Don't run the risk of nuclear war. Don't invest in war no more. And all we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance.
Thank you, Susan. I think, are they on the way down? Do you know, Cole?
The cop said they were, yeah.
Okay, that's great. While we're waiting for them, why don't we have a few words from Cole Harrison, the director of Mass Peace Action.
Woo. Thanks, Paul. I just want to welcome, is it Shamim Garcia? Please come over. She is with Senator Markey, and Caroline Freeman is also here. Okay, thank you both for coming. I'm Cole Harrison with Massachusetts Peace Action, and this group is here just to deliver petitions to Senators Markey and Warren, asking them to lead in terms of establishing a negotiation process to end the war in Ukraine. We are very concerned that our country has become a belligerent in this conflict. We spent $100 billion for weapons. Our troops are providing intelligence for the Ukrainian military targeting, and we have to take this down. The Russian aggression is...
Okay. My name is Shamim Garcia. I'm with Senator Markey's office. We really appreciate Mass Peace Action coming to our office today to deliver these petitions. I will definitely pass them along to Senator Markey. I understand that our office has been in frequent communication with Cole and Mass Peace Action on these issues, and we really appreciate your presence here today.
Thank you.
We can just take a minute to read out the letter that we're turning in. This is by 250 Massachusetts voters. I thought a few people might help me and each read a paragraph. It's not too long. The Ukraine-Russia war demands our urgent attention. We condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but we also condemn NATO expansion and U.S. NATO provocations of Russia over the decades. Russia, Ukraine, the U.S., and NATO have all refused to seriously negotiate over the issues, and leadership for peace is urgently needed. In the lead-up to Russia's invasion, Ukraine's eastern provinces rebelled in 2014 after a popular uprising followed by an illegal change of government in Kiev. The Minsk II agreement provided a framework to settle the conflict, but Ukraine, backed by the West, refused to implement it. We must reject simplistic narratives that claim one side is all good and the other side is all evil. There is blame to go around, and war is itself the greatest evil.
Yes.
Now, could I have a volunteer to read the next paragraph? There's just two more to go in our letter. Here comes Eileen. Start where the third paragraph where it says the Ukraine war has killed tens of thousands.
The Ukraine war has killed tens of thousands, caused a food crisis in the Middle East and Africa, which is getting worse, and an energy crisis in Europe, which is enriching U.S. oil companies and destroying the climate. Working people are seeing rapid inflation and looming recession. We have already spent $50 billion on military aid to Ukraine and are planning to spend more.
No!
We need that money at home. Both sides are planning to escalate the conflict. U.S. and NATO sending more arms and Russia recruiting more troops. Both are planning spring offensives. The conflict could easily spiral out of control and result in world-destroying nuclear war. There is no military solution. The only solution is a ceasefire followed by negotiations to settle the outstanding issues. We call on the U.S. to support negotiations instead of hindering them, to stop sending arms that escalate that conflict, and to sit down with Russia to address U.S.-Russian security issues, including reestablishing strategic stability, arms control, U.S. missile bases in Eastern Europe, and conventional force deployments. And then the names, those hundreds of names are there.
Okay, that's it. There's just one more thing. I want everyone to gather together for a group picture with the staff members and the senators. So please come as close together as you can, but we also want to see all your signs and banners and stuff. And we also want to see the faces of those two representatives who wrote letters. We expect a response from the senators to our call for negotiations. They have voted for war repeatedly. They have not yet spoken out in favor of negotiations. That is our biggest ask, that they respond to that today.
Take the lead. They need to take the lead.
That's right.
Markey, take the
Okay, can you get them all in one picture? All right.
It's a big crowd.
Take the lead. Warren and Markey, take the lead. Warren and Markey, take the lead. Warren and Markey, take the lead. Thank you very much.
One more picture.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for everybody coming out on this cold day. The 1 year anniversary of the soccer event. Of course, did not start last year, but started 9 years ago. Well, this is like preaching to the choir. but 1 year since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It's not 10,000, not tens of thousands, over 100,000 Ukrainians killed and wounded, more than 180,000 Russians, young conscripts killed and wounded, no Americans killed yet. How many more years are we going to fight this war using Ukrainians as cannon fodder to fight a geopolitical war against the U.S. superpower rival, Russia? Is China next? A war over Taiwan? Is it worth risking your and your children's future for this?
No.
When are we going to start taking care of our own people? Providing health care, providing clean drinking water in Jackson, Mississippi, providing clean air and water in eastern Ohio, investing in clean, renewable energy here at home. The rest of the world wants peace. Newsflash: guns, bombs, and tanks don't solve problems. They create them. Let's look in the mirror. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Our people are hurting. It's time to bring the money back home and invest in our nation, our people. It's time to work together constructively with the rest of the planet. Only by working together can we tackle the struggling challenges of climate change and the imminent threat of nuclear annihilation. No to war, yes to peace.
Yes.
No to war,
yes
to peace. No to war, yes to peace.
Thank you.
Right on.
Nice with all.
Well done.
Okay, now Jane Brinker from Boston Mayday Coalition is going to say another word.
Hi, folks. We need to pursue this relentlessly because the United States government is pursuing war relentlessly, and we will not stop until we have peace. This is not, as you all know, helping the Ukrainian people by prolonging this war until the last one is dead. It's horrific, and we know that. So we need to grow our numbers, and we will persist, and we demand the Biden administration have peace negotiations now, and also to care about our own people. He neglected the people in Palestine when they were under that horrific railroad disaster. He did not care about them. He's in Ukraine. Hello, Ukraine is not our 51st state. Stop going to war. Thank you.
I'll say, Jane, thank you.
Okay, well, this has been a terrific get-together today. For whatever differences we have, we agree on very many basic things, and we must work for those basic things we agree on as hard as we can. This will not be our last, unfortunately, our last rally, our last event pushing for peace and pushing for negotiations. But it is a good beginning, and let us keep on. Thanks everyone for coming, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Paul. Good job, Paul.